Hey everyone, CTNtechnologynews here, and today I've got a really exciting video for you. Today I am looking at the brand new Galaxy S5, Samsung's latest flagship Android smartphone. So there's a lot of stuff that's changed since last generation, and while none of it is groundbreaking, it's just a lot of nice overhauls and improvements to last year's model. So let's go ahead and start taking a look. So as far as the screen, the phone sports a 5.1-inch OLED display, ever so slightly larger than the S4's 5-inch display. Now the screen resolution does remain unchanged at 1080p, but Samsung has infused a couple of neat environment-specific features, such as the ability for the display to adjust its levels relatively to your surrounding lighting conditions, or like an extra low dimming mode for use in dark rooms, or if you don't want people looking at your screen from over your shoulder. Now when it comes to battery, Samsung promises up to 10 hours of web surfing over an LTE cellular connection, or up to 12 hours of video playback. There's a new ultra power saving mode that will shut down all but the most essential features and turn the screen to black and white, so when you're just about out of battery, you'll be able to squeak out enough usage to communicate in an emergency. Samsung says you get up to about 24 hours of usage with 10% of your battery left, and I find this feature really exciting. Now as far as the cameras, the rear-facing camera gets a slight bump, jumping to 16 megapixels, and autofocus speed has been increased. The actual image sensor is larger than the S4's, it's been paired with an image processing chip as well, so it's capable of shooting 4K video. There's also a selective focus feature that lets you finesse which areas of a photo receive more focus and which are more blurred for a DSLR-like look. Finally, there's a real-time high dynamic range mode that will let you preview what an HDR enhanced photo would look like next to a non-HDR version of the same photo. Now, an interesting thing about the build is that people were wanting a lot of aluminum in the Galaxy S5, but unfortunately there's no aluminum here this time round. The case is still polycarbonate, a fancy word for plastic. However, there is a perforated black, which looks somewhat similar to the Galaxy Note 3, and color options include black, blue, white, and gold. The phone is also water and dust resistant, and Samsung says you can watch videos in the pool for instance, but that you shouldn't submerge the phone underwater. Tough, but fair. Now on the back of the phone, right under the camera sensor, there's an integrated heart rate monitor, the first of its kind in a smartphone. Hold your finger against the monitor and it will actually tell you your pulse. Now the Galaxy S5 sports 5th generation Wi-Fi, a first for smartphones. They can be paired for the LTE cellular connection to accelerate overall download speeds. There's an integrated fingerprint sensor that appears on screen above the home button, and you'll actually have to swipe your finger, so it's slightly different from Apple's Touch ID. Now the modifications made to stock Android on the phone, it is running the latest version 4.4.2 KitKat, look flatter and somewhat less underwhelming than past efforts, with a thin, modern font and a simple graphics app circles. Things generally look like slightly better than in past years, but not too really different from stock Android. Now when it comes to processor, memory, and storage, Samsung didn't really touch on the Galaxy S5's processor during the MWC presentation, so it's very likely that horsepower might vary by market. Some phones might ship with Samsung's own Exynos chips, while others might ship with Qualcomm Snapdragon chips, for example. Now we'll see 16 and 32GB storage options, but the amount of RAM has not been revealed. It's believed to be about 3GB, and we'll know more once we get ready to launch. Now speaking of a launch date, the Samsung Galaxy S5 will be available starting April 11th in 150 countries, and there's no word on pricing, but here in the US, it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect the phone to start at around $200 with a 2-year contract, and to be available on all major US carriers. Now this is a basic sample of the Galaxy S5, and this is a brand new smartphone from Samsung. The Galaxy S4 sold amazingly well, so whenever Samsung unveils a new Galaxy S phone, that's a big deal. The Galaxy S5 isn't really a dramatic overhaul of last year's model, as much as it's just tweaking features to make the phone even better. But let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!